This is Andy Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by the juggernaut, Joyce in Las Vegas. Joe, bringing that energy out here. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, pretty well actually. Back in Vegas, it's so hot here. It's 40, like the highest was like 47. So yeah, it's roasting. And this is like the first time for a long time I've been here over the summer. And yeah, there's some, obviously I've been back practicing the southpaw. Um, what I needed to work on with southpaws, and like I've already started sparring. Salas got back in the gym yesterday. And yeah, things going well. I've not been under, I've been putting everything into place and making sure everything's going streamlined and better than the last camp, and like not, I don't know, like not making sure I've got everything right so I can get the win and continue the journey.
Joe, just as I haven't had a chance to catch up with you since that defeat in the first fight, just kind of want you to take me back to it. What went wrong for you on that night?
So, like, what went wrong? I lost. My eyes swelled up, and I didn't manage to knock him out or get him out of there or win the fight. So, it was very disappointing for me, and I saw my family and my fans and everybody, my team. So, it's something that I want to get back and get not go the long route. I want to just avenge that defeat, and then I can continue and become heavyweight champion of the world.
Going into that fight, was there a game plan which maybe you couldn't necessarily follow, or is that all changing going into the second fight? Is there a similar game plan? You just maybe seem a bit more adamant in your own mind that you can follow it this time around.
Yeah, there was like some last minute changes that I didn't really have a chance to practice, and excuse me. Yeah, there's more there's more practice and tactics that need to go in for the next one. So I need to, because yeah, Zhang's a smart guy. He's very experienced, and he's been a southpaw for a long time. So he's faced a lot of orthodox fighters, including Filip Hrgovic, which it was a close decision. So he's already had like a practice run at it before he fought me. So now I've had a practice run fighting him, but I lost. But this time I need to win the fight, and I believe I will, by any means possible.
After the fight, first time round, I spoke to Richie Woodall, and he said that he's surprised by kind of how much of a lack of boxing knowledge you seem to show against fighting a southpaw, given your experience from the amateurs. You'd have travelled around the world, fought every possible style. Was it difficult in the build up to this fight to prepare for the southpaw style of Zhang? Did you underestimate him? What did you make of Zhang's style specifically that maybe you couldn't work around on fight night?
There's a couple of things in the build up to the camp, and on my behalf, the team's behalf, and things like that, which I won't go into. But like, it was, a lot of things were being overlooked, or maybe there's little bits and pieces that needed to be better, and so this camp is like about correcting them and make sure everything's streamlined, and I know what I'm doing, practiced, and yeah, tried and tested, so I can then, like, put on a performance and get the win this time round. Because this is like, otherwise, the long route is not what I'm going for. I need to get it back and get the WO interim back in time for my shot to get called, and then. But like, I guess there's a lot of talk about the next steps, and a lot of talk about me having a granite chin and this and that, and maybe I got a bit complacent in training, and I thought which is probably needed, like something that needed to happen or happened unfortunately, and it was like a lesson and something that I need to get right this time.
Do you feel like you bought into that kind of juggernaut mentality a little too much in the Zhang fight, obviously constantly coming forwards, but his left hand just couldn't seem to miss in that fight. Obviously, everybody, as you mentioned, talks about your granite chin, knows how you can take a punch. Even in the fight, obviously, it was stopped on how your eye was kind of closing and how your eye looked, so it wasn't even a matter of you getting dropped and your eye, you were just down to the doctor stopping the fight.
Yeah, I mean the eye. Yeah, it could have been. It swelled up pretty quickly, and it could have been dealt with as well. And I felt like I could have still been in the fight towards the later rounds. I started landing my punch output was good. I was landing a lot of shots and started to work him out, but it was too late because the eye had already swelled too much, and the doctor took two looks at it, and gave me the I could see the fingers. I could still see through my eye. It was only bruised, so there was no eye socket fractures or anything like that. It's a little what do you call it? A fracture in my nose septum or something like that. And my ear was bruised, but it's not exactly a career-ending injury. So it healed up within a week. So I'm back at it again. I'm back out in Vegas, going to put right what went wrong on the night, and looking forward to getting the victory this time round. And then I'm just solely focused on beating Zhang now, and then after that will be whatever happens after that. Then I'll worry about then, and now I'll just focus on Zhang.
One other thing, just before we move on, I'm interested by was your weight on fight night. You came in incredibly light in comparison to your previous bouts. Was that a mistake? Was that something that you'd pre-planned? What was the consideration with your weight?
The weight, I've never had to worry about being underweight. It's normally I'm a bit overweight, and I need to get that more streamlined. And especially when you start eating hotel food after, before the weigh, because I'm a heavyweight, and whatever else it tends to go on when I'm not training. But yeah, there was something in my diet that wasn't, was being a bit wasn't great for me, and obviously that is being taken care of. And yeah, can you tell them to shut up back there?
Joe, just to stick with the weight front, will we expect to see you come in a little heavier then for this rematch?
Yeah, I'll be heavier. I'll be back on my normal weight, and I'll be practiced and ready for this time round in my fight. And I want to win this fight. I'm not no mug, and so I just need to beat his ass and go on from there.
How do you defeat him? What when you've played this fight over in your mind, when you think about how you shared the ring in the first fight, if any weaknesses you thought that you saw you could exploit with another camp behind you, what do you have to do to overturn that result?
I just need to be better. I need to have my tactics right, the game plan right, and everything practiced in place, so I can put on a display that I believe I can. I believe I can win this fight, and that's why I've taken the rematch and not the scenic route round. I just want to get back in there and right the wrongs. And yeah, Zhang's a tricky fighter, and it was maybe a risk too far and I gave him a shot and an opportunity, and he took it, and he seems to be training hard, and it's going to be a tough fight.
One thing which I'm interested to get your thoughts on as well, you've always been given a great deal of credit for stepping up and fight people when maybe you didn't have to. You took this fight and everybody was praising you for taking it, and then the fight plays out the way it does, and then everybody's saying, well, why has he fought Zhang? Why has he taken that risk? What do you make of people changing their opinions like that?
Well, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one. So I don't pay no mind to people talking on on social media, because it seems to breed all that hate, and people, I don't know, have freedom of speech, or don't they these days? I don't know. Do people have freedom of speech or not? So it's I don't know, difficult times, but difficult times breed tough men, and I just want to go and do the job and do the business. I'm doing the business in camp. I'm making sure I've done everything right in camp, and I believe I'm going to beat Zhang, and then the world's my oyster after that.
Do you feel pressure to overturn that result?
Yeah, I feel pressure because even in myself, because it is a challenge and it's a tough test. It's not easy fighting southpaws, and a lot of people would avoid Zhang, but I gave him the opportunity, which was to my detriment, and it's about me getting it back and getting everything right and being the best and coming out better from it, like with more skills under my belt and more confidence. I'm confident anyway, but I mean I'll be more confident beating Zhang and going into a world title fight, if that's possible.
We saw Tyson Fury name Zhang as a potential opponent of his up until obviously the Ngannou fight was announced. Was there ever any consideration on your behalf to step aside to allow that fight to happen, or was you always determined to get the rematch on?
Well, there was an option there, but there's a lot of talk and a lot of action. So
Fair enough, Joe. Just to get your thoughts on a few other topics before I let you go. As you mentioned, Fury and Ngannou there. Boxing fraternity not necessarily pleased by that. Obviously, we wanted to see the Fury Usyk undisputed bout, but just your thoughts on that. Are you interested in Fury and Ngannou?
Uh, yeah, I'd like to have a look. I've shared the ring with Fury and Ngannou, so it'd be an interesting fight. If I manage to watch it, if other people watching it, and because there's a lot, I've got a list of fights that I was supposed to watch and I'd like to watch, but I haven't watched yet. So yeah, I'm a doer, not a watcher.
When you sparred Francis Ngannou, what was his power like? How will that hold up in a fight with Tyson?
Psh, yeah, Ngannou hits hard. It was because I was fighting Dubois. About the same height and power. Like it was, yeah. I had to get away from those power shots because he hits hard and he's a unit, big old unit. So a few needs to be switched on and not like take. I mean, he should wipe the floor of him, but if he's a split second he switches off, he could get nailed. And I'm happy for Ngannou getting that money because he's got great earning potential for this fight. Fury, whoever he fights, is going to have he's going to get loads of money anyway.
People talk about the difference between UFC style and boxing style in the ring. From again your experience with Francis, how did you find him adjusting to just boxing in a ring?
Well, Ngannou, like from speaking to him, he started but actually boxing, so but obviously not at the level of Fury. It's a different sport, UFC, and they have to worry about the legs, the grappling and submissions and stuff. It's like it's an all-round fighting style, so there's a lot more to train for, and you need to be more rounded. But then boxing has its finesse because it's just your arm, so it's kind of like tighter. Like whereas UFC would be a bit more open and predictable. Like if you're a boxer purist, then fighting a UFC fighter should be no problem because you can see the gaps and you're used to the distance a lot more because kicks are longer range than punches. So like if a boxer going into UFC, they won't have much chance because they can't grapple, they can't kick. Most of them got the flexibility, so it's like a tennis player playing a badminton player or a tennis player playing a table tennis player. So it's like a different kind of sport. So Fury's going to have the advantage in boxing, I believe.
You mentioned obviously he's using him to prepare for Daniel. He's got a big fight with Alexander Usyk on the horizon in August. A lot of people not really giving him much of a chance. How do you rate his chances? What happens between Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois, Joe?
Well, like you see how I met like with my experience and stuff. I managed to like avoid his punches. Usyk is a southpaw and he's going to be faster. He's going to throw a lot of punches. He's got better ring IQ and stuff. But Dubois has he's younger. He's fresher. He can he can hit really hard. So if he can manage to land a punch on him and get him hurt, get him in trouble, then yeah, he's definitely got a puncher's chance.
Joshua-Whyte too, another big heavyweight fight on August 12th. That's only a couple of weeks away now. Just again, your thoughts, Joe.
Yeah, good fight. I'd like to see that. I enjoyed the first one. I think they went at it, and it was, it's entertaining, the build up and the fight. So hopefully we see something similar again. Usually the rematch is better, so hopefully it is.
Of course, out here in Las Vegas, big fight, welterweight supremacy on the line on Saturday night. Errol Spence Jr., Terence Crawford. What's your prediction, Joe?
I've been saying Crawford. I need to check out Spence. So I'm more familiar with Crawford's style. I've seen him in person and in the ring and stuff. So that's why I'm siding with him and think he's going to win. But I don't know the boxing. I just do it.
And then just a final one from me. In the build-up to your fight with Zhilei Zhang first time round, he was always going to give in a message to you. Do you have a message for him?
Hey, Big Bang, let's go again and fight, and may the best man win.
Joe, it's always a pleasure. Obviously, best of luck with the rest of your camp out here in Las Vegas, and I will see you come your return to the UK. Thank you.
Thank you very much.